Anyone can sell electronics. At Electronics Expo, they do more than sell products. They design, install, and support complete technology solutions. From home theaters and whole home audio to lighting, shades, automation, networking, security cameras, and premium entertainment systems. For over 22 years, they've helped thousands of homeowners experience technology at its very best. See the difference for yourself. Visit their Wayne or Paramus stores in New Jersey or shop now at electronicsexpo.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
You'll never get it. 800-848-9222. Ben, welcome to the other side of midnight. Hi.
Hey, Walter. Hey, Walter. How are you?
I'm better that you're here now. As you can imagine, everything's better that you're here.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I've been listening to you, and I've been listening to you gain momentum, and I really do enjoy your show. And I wanted to ask you a few questions about your start. How did you get started in radio, and was that what you preferred to do? Look, I'm assuming I'm a gentleman in my early 60s. I'm assuming you're around my age, so I'm sure you have an arc in your career path. Did you start off thinking you were going to be someone who would be anchoring radio shows, or did you have another path? And I'd just like to know your history a little bit. Going back.
You may have an arc in your life, but I do not have an arc in my feet. They're flat feet. The second thing is that
sorry about that.
Everybody in radio, it's so sad. Everybody in radio has the same horrible, sad story. Here's how it goes. Ask anybody in radio who's made a career in radio. They will all tell you the same tragic story. Goes like this. I was 15. I pretended to be on the radio in my bedroom. One day, I convinced my mother to take me to the closest radio station, and I hung out. And I just hung out. We all just hung out at the closest radio station, did whatever we were asked to do, and day by day, very slowly, the people at the station would teach us things when they saw we were serious and lifers. It has been, tragically, it is a calling like the priesthood with the same-sex life. It is a calling. And we had no choice. When I worked at NBC, I ran one of their radio divisions. And Fred Silverman was the CEO, the genius who created television programming that looks like television programming today. The reason television looks the way it does was because of what Fred Silverman did. He was the CEO, and he liked me. And we were standing there one day, and Fred Silverman said, "When are you going to go into television?" He was very annoyed that I was in radio. "When are you going into television?" And I looked at him. I said, Fred, you might as well ask me when I'm going to be a plumber. I have just no interest. And his head exploded because he knew who he was, and he was asking me to take a job in TV. Thousands of people would have killed for that, and I'm standing there going, "No, I like to play jingles."
Discussion happened.
The discussion happened.
If you wouldn't mind sharing your age, would be nice.
Yeah, I would mind sharing that. The answer is I have a 14-year-old.
Oh, my word. Okay.
I have a 14-year-old daughter. I have a 21-year-old daughter and a 24-year-old daughter. The 24-year-old daughter, oh, thank God. Thank God the 24-year-old daughter got a job. She was born to be in television. She just graduated from the Newhouse School at Syracuse University, and she's a television animal. She wants to be a television producer. She doesn't want to be on the air. So those are two bonus tracks for her. Doesn't want to be on the air, doesn't want to be in radio. She just got a job with Gray Television, a big television company. She just got a job as a morning show producer with them. Very proud of my daughter, Dorothy. Congratulations, daughter. The 21-year-old is going to Brooklyn College. She lives in Queens. She's surrounded by Chinese restaurants. She lives in Flushing, Queens. She's very happy. She has a girlfriend of whom we approve. And then my 14-year-old has apraxia and autism, and she's the happiest person I've ever met.
23. He just graduated from NYU Stern with a perfect score. a 3.96, and we're very proud of him. And we're just waiting for him, fingers crossed, to get a job.
Well, he'll get a job because he's in Manhattan. He went to NYU Stern. But how much did COVID screw him up?
My family has been significantly impacted. We've had a family tragedy here. I've lost a second son recently, and he was younger than the other guy. But it's COVID, and I think the experience that these children go through that is very different than what you and I have gone through.
That's right.
It's made for a different generation. And,
that's right. What they did to those kids. Your kid who just graduated from Stern, he forget about all the hard stuff. And in high school, he didn't get a prom. He didn't get the photos. He didn't get the assemblies. He got screwed. So did my daughter. My daughter was a rules kid. She wanted a prom. She wanted the graduation photos. She wanted the graduation ceremony. She was denied that. So those social things really hurt her. She for years, like your son, she couldn't wait for that stuff. And she was denied that. And it's that 21-year-old daughter, and then I'll shut up because I want to hear what you were going to say. That 21-year-old daughter, in her junior year in high school, made a decision to get into the best college she could, and she was a straight A student. And then COVID hit on Zoom. She couldn't learn on Zoom, and she was practically flunking out.
Oh, my God.
Right? Horrible.
Yeah, their experience is horrible. I mean, so for example, one of the reasons we moved into the town that we're in, Montville, New Jersey, is because the high school system is one of the better New Jersey school experiences, and it's in my backyard. And we moved in here when they were toddlers, and they could literally walk out the back of our yard and into the school. And they spent 2 years going to school in their bedroom. And, sometimes life just throws you wrenches at your head.
And how did they do on Zoom? Could they learn on Zoom? Many kids could not.
So my older guy is completely academic, and he prevailed amazingly. This is a kid, by the way, who is now 23 years old. You know what he does for fun? He reads things like the Iliad on his own and takes notes.
You have failed.
Okay,
you have failed.
The other guy struggled academically, and unfortunately, we lost him to a suicide. And I think a lot of the things that have impacted these children in that experience, that COVID experience, and all the things that they deal with, social media, Instagram, Snapchat, I think have played a part in, unfortunately, my younger son's demise. He wasn't able to get through it, and we lost him on December 16th. I don't mean to make your audience or yourself sad. I'm sorry.
It would be, listen to me, it would be inappropriate if we weren't sad. It would be inappropriate if you didn't expect us to be sad. I am flattered in the worst possible way that you felt that it was okay to share that with me. It is okay to share that with me. I'm grateful that you shared it with me. Thank you for sharing that with me. And one of the most useful things I heard about people who take that path is that it's never one thing. It is never one thing. It is a collection of things that you and I cannot imagine. Your brain isn't his brain. Your brain isn't his in any way. And this is key. And I know you know this because I can hear how smart you are by your voice. I can tell intelligence in voices because I'm a talk show host.
Thank you.
The fact is that you didn't do that.
No, I know that. We know that. Look, it was December 16th, and it feels like it was yesterday in a lot of ways.
It may feel that way. One of the ways.
We're getting help.
You're getting help by talking about it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we do, and we have therapy, and one of the things that's very enlightening for us is we go to a group called Survivors of Suicide Therapy, and it's hosted here in Madison, New Jersey. We do it twice a month. You'd be surprised how many people show up. I think this week we just went. It's on Wednesdays. It was today, and there was about 45 of us, parents and siblings, and primarily others who've lost a loved one due to suicide. It's just the grieving process is very difficult with suicide. It's a little different than losing someone to cancer or a health issue or an older parent.
How is it different?
There's a complexity there, right? I mean, the people that left us, they made a choice, but as we work with the therapists, the choice wasn't completely theirs. It was, the suicide took them. They were in such despair and pain that there wasn't much that they can do. And the grieving that we go through is the why. The biggest factor I think most people struggle with is the why and how did we miss it. And as a father, I'm sure anyone can relate to this. How do you, reconcile the fact that you didn't understand the pain that your own child was going through? We both, my wife and I, started to recognize my son was suffering with something. He wasn't diagnosed with like a bipolar or schizophrenia or something, but he'd grown up as an ADHD person, which now that we've reviewed it, looks like ADHD people do have an increased risk for suicide. But I started to realize probably about 6 months prior to him leaving us that he was probably developing something else. I would say there's three groups of people that show up at this event. There's the people of children between the ages of 15 and 25, primarily boys, but a lot of girls as well, but primarily boys. The brain is still forming, and that mental illness comes on somewhere in that 18, 19, 20-year-old period, and they change. And we notice the change. Anger, and just deep sadness that was part of who he started to become, that we didn't see when he was a toddler, when he was a younger guy. Certainly as a kid or child, he was never like that. But that brain was forming into something, and it was struggling. And we're not mental health people or professionals. We just thought we would get through it, and we started to discuss things like therapy and a few other things that we were working on, and he didn't give us a chance. And that seems to be the similar discussion point that comes up with a lot of the people that are similar to us. The next group of people, if I had to take it in thirds, that's the first third. The second third, believe it or not, is young women between the ages of 28 and 40 that really struggle. I guess they don't seem to feel like they're acclimating to life, or whatever their expectations were. A lot of them are professionals. Some of them are even mental health professionals, which is hard to believe. Mm. And now you have a bunch of parents who are struggling with losing a 40-year-old daughter. Mm. And then the last group is hard to believe. And the people who show up are usually spouses for this group. People who are our age, Walter, late 50s to 70, 80. Either they have a mental health, an actual health issue. They're diagnosed with something, a cancer that just can't be remediated, and they decide that they just don't want to wait for the outcome. The problem is they leave this destruction in their wake. They make these choices on their own, and usually children or spouses need to deal with those folks. And honestly, that group seems to be the people that are completely in overwhelming despair. We are all in despair and grieving. When we go to these meetings, there's a comfort that we get from sharing, and we're all sharing the same kind of grief. It's, like I said, it's a little different than just losing. I have parents that are very elderly. My mom is 89. My dad is 92. So
And how old was your son, Ben? How old was your son?
He was 19.
Now, Ben, this group that you participate in outside of New Jersey and the rest of the country, does this group exist? Could a listener find this group? How would a listener find this group of survivors of suicides?
I don't. My wife manages a lot of these. She just tells me we're going, and she puts me in the car and we go. But I think there is an organization, and I think it is very organized, and I think it is a national organization. And they're very organized.
All right, Ben. Then this is what I'd like you to do. Send me an email. Talk to your wife. Send me an email as to how other people grieving a suicide can find this organization. And my email is
Walter.Sterling@WABC.com or something like that.
Something like that, yeah, Ben. And I grew up in Maplewood and in Short Hills.
Okay.
So we're spiritual neighbors. I am grateful that you took the time to tell us about this. And I'm obviously sorry, but I'm very grateful that you are generous enough to share this. And you have helped more people than you could ever imagine tonight. And you're going to give me that information, and we'll help thousands of people, all right?
All right, thank you, Walter.
And
have a good night, guys.
Keep listening to this stupid show. It might help your spirits.
I'm an avid radio fan. I repair old AM radios as a hobby. I just repaired an old 1937 RCA Victor.
You know what I have? You know what I have? If you're an old radio repair guy, you know what I've got? I have a Armstrong FM radio. I have an Armstrong FM radio. How about that? How cool is that?
I love that. He committed suicide.
I'm sorry. I should have thought of that before I said that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll never say that to you again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he struggled with the RCA.
He struggled with Sarnoff, is what he struggled with.
Yeah, but thank you. I have an Armstrong radio myself that I need to repair.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thanks for calling. We'll talk anytime. All right, my friend?
Email. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Ben lost a son at 19. And I'm grateful that he shared that, because I know you may be suffering with that as well at some point in your life. And the important thing I was taught about a suicide, is it is never one thing. And it may be something that caused it because they never shared it. There may be something that caused it that they would never tell us about. We knew nothing about. Always a possibility. My name is Walter Sterling. This is The Other Side of Midnight, and this is the Red Apple Audio Networks.
The Other Side of Midnight with Walter Sterling.